We are coming towards the second technical session of this workshop. Topic is more complicated and less understood compared to EIA. And there have been many martyrs in this CRZ regulation-related things. But then I'm finding audience is less, so I think there are people who are more interested than people who have decided to leave. Well, organizers have asked us to discuss following topics: CRZ in India in its scientific base, current practices of regulation is working, major issues, challenges missed out, is it over-regulating, what is status vis-a-vis other countries, and have you regulated better? Both CRZ notification and EIA notification, what is happening? These are procedural notifications. These are not meant for EIA process or EIA as a subject or EIA as a topic or scientifically defining for EIA procedure. It says if prior environmental clearance is to be obtained, then what is the procedure to be followed? As simple as that. So it doesn't talk of your regional EIA and carrying capacity and EIA for Mumbai and things like that. Similarly, CRZ notification is also procedural notification. These are not guidelines for preparing coastal zone management plan, even though responsibility is given to state government for preparing coastal zone management plan. World over, people don't talk of CRZ regulation as such. I tried my best, but I couldn't locate on web CRZ regulation from any other country. But world over, people, what they're talking about is coastal zone management plan. And they say it is interdisciplinary, intersectoral approach to problem definition and solution in coastal zone. Coastal zone is important for humanity. There are coastal resources which need to be preserved, and therefore we need to do something. So what they say world over is coastal zone management is a community-based management of coastal resources. People who are staying in coastal area, they are important, and their participation is important in coastal zone management. Large-scale infrastructure development projects have adverse impact on coastal areas, so we need to do something about it. Also, we need to do something about pollution and erosion control. Erosion is a phenomena worldwide. Aquaculture farms can come only in coastal areas, and therefore something needs to be done for aquaculture. Tourism and recreation, cities which are close to coast. Oil spill contingency planning. Oil spill, we had some incidences 2 years back in Mumbai itself, and navigational risk assessment. And so, CZM is a process of governance aiming at legal and institutional framework, which we are deliberating on. Integration of developmental plans with environmental and social goals. CRZ notification per se doesn't address this part of it. Integration of developmental plans with environmental and social goals, ideally should be part of CZMP, and developed with participation of those affected. We have a long history of CRZ notification in this country, and first letter to this effect came from Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1981, and as I understand, it seems she visited Goa, and then Goa people complained to her about this coastal zone management in Goa, and they said, okay, what needs to be done then? And this is story, so I really don't know, that she was told that at least 500 meters from high tide line, no development should take place. So she went back, and in her style, she wrote to this. So why 500 meters? Public opinion that time. That is the only understanding I'm having. Why it is not 300 or 200, that's something. So subsequently, working group was there, draft CRZ notification was there, 1991 CRZ notification was there, and as usual, like many government notifications and rules and regulations, there was no action for many years. Then court intervened, and then there were state coastal zone management authorities were there. Then people started complaining, oh, it is too much regulation, it is not helping, so we must do something. So there was first committee of Swaminathan committee in 2004, we submitted report in 2005. Then draft CRZ notification in 2008, and again there were comments, and there was Swaminathan committee again, and we submitted report in 2009, and finally what we are having is 2011 CRZ notification. And after that, as usual, 3-4 amendments to it. Well, let us see what therefore, I'm saying not going into procedural part of it, but let's see what MS Swaminathan Committee report said in 2005. Its basic objective is safeguard habitats and strengthen livelihood security for fisher families. So when Jairam Ramesh came to Mumbai and he met fishermen folk in Mumbai and then assured something, there was even Jairam Ramesh is too environmental friendly minister or he wants to do something for environment. He was not speaking something new. It was already there in the MS Swaminathan committee report that fishermen folk along the coast need to be protected. Pay attention to potential threats to coastal farming communities. Conserve natural and cultural heritage sites. Strengthen ecological security, and strengthen the coping capacity of coastal communities to face challenges of sea level rise caused by climate change, as well as more frequent occurrence of tsunamis and cyclones. Then there were suggestions for prevention of pollution in sea, initiate steps for protection of people, and it said that it also requires integrated attention towards landward and seaward sides of the coast. Say in 1991 notification, it was not going towards seaward sites, so 2005 first time recommendation came and it was done. 2009 committee report which says the challenges to Indian coast are unprecedented pressures because of industrial and urban development. Climate change related devastation from growing intensities of cyclone storms. That report clearly says that fishing communities are in double danger. From conservation on one hand, which says what cannot be done to protect the ecology of the area, and development which is taking place. So future policies for coastal zone management must reverse this trend, is what is said. There are extensive guidelines and only part of it is implemented. Check violations of CRZ through improved space technology. As of today, it is not happening, except for, I think, Dr. Katole is here. MRSAC had prepared a report for mangrove coverage in Maharashtra as a result of High Court code. That was the only example of technology which is used on state level for coastal area. Enhanced protection to fishing communities. Nowadays, many environmental clearance letters which are issued by central appraisal committees, they make it mandatory to make some certain provision for fishing communities. To that extent is implemented. For Mumbai, some special provisions are required. That has come in 2011 notification. Again, next aspect is not done. Introduce regulations to manage proliferation of ports along the coasts by considering cumulative impacts. Well, we talk of cumulative impact of building construction, but ports which are coming all along east and west coast of India, there is no cumulative impact assessment because, again, question is who will do it. And introduce tighter standards for disposal of effluents in coastal waters. New management regimes for Andaman, Nicobar, and so forth. I'm not going into it. This 2011 notification, there were certain modifications, and I thought I should bring it to your notice. In keeping with Swaminathan committee report, CRZ was also extended to 12 nautical miles in the sea. In order to safeguard livelihood of communities who are staying in coastal area, new concept was introduced, and again it is as per Swaminathan committee report of hazard line. This is beyond 500 meters, which is a protected coastal zone, and then identifying critically vulnerable areas. Also, all along the coast, study was to be undertaken for identifying high eroding, medium eroding, and low eroding stretches. For Gujarat, this study is completed by Institute of Remote Sensing in Chennai. I'm not aware whether for Maharashtra similar study is done. And this is reason because, as I said, CRZ notification is a procedural notification. It says in high erosion area, no development will take place. For medium erosion area, comprehensive EIA will be required. And for low erosion, low and medium areas, comprehensive EIA, and in some cases, rapid EIA is required. No development zone was reduced from 200 meters to 100 meters. And some provisions which were there in earlier notification, they were reduced. At the same time, ministry has sponsored integrated coastal zone management project in all states with a huge budget of 1156 crore. Work of this hazard line is given to Survey of India. They're working on it, and CCOM is coordinating all activities. Well, when I was just surfing on the net, I could come this particular slide in Dr. Baba's presentation, that what sort of inland boundaries and ocean boundaries are there in various countries, and they're varying from something like, say, 100 meter to 2 kilometer in various countries, and subsequently Dipti is going to make presentations, so she will tell us more about it. When it comes to industry side, there's a lot of hue and cry about CRZ notification and restrictions which are put by CRZ. Now, this is a news item. Strict CRZ rules are affecting growth plans. This is from CIDCO, and there is a case going on with CIDCO and other. I'm going to bring to your notice one interesting thing which I am myself facing. This is a Virar area. Sorry. If you see it, this is basically creek. This is a Kaman river which is coming and joining creek. Now in Maharashtra, prior to CRZ notification, there is a Salinity Development Board, Kharland Development Board, which is called. Their entire job is protecting agricultural land from intrusion of saline water by constructing bunds along the creeklets which are joining creek. Like any government job, the bunds were constructed, subsequently not maintained, or there were breaches, and then water started coming in. So if you see this slide, initially there were small pieces of mangroves all along the bunds. And most of the land was vacant. I think this was something like 2005 imagery. In 2009, there was a survey done for CRZ mapping by SES Trivandrum, and they have, this is a high tide line, and this is a CRZ line as per 2009 survey, because that time it was based on 1991 notification where mangroves were not playing any role in CRZ notification. And this is what has happened subsequently, because now wherever mangroves are there, what is premises is that mangroves is there, that means high tide line water is reaching that area. That means your high tide line is beyond mangroves. As a result, when recently the survey was done by SES, now this is a high tide line, and 100 meters beyond that will be a CRZ line. Now people who are owning this land, what is their fault? They are having agricultural land, they were practicing agriculture, bunds were there, bunds were not maintained, water started highlighted, water coming in, some seeds had flown along with these mangroves. Well, at least layman understanding is telling me that these mangroves in this area are not serving any environmental purpose. That means they are weeds. I'm an engineer, this is my engineering interpretation. But then CRZ notification says, oh, mangroves beyond that high tide line, 100 meters CRZ zone, no development possible. Why are we sacrificing this piece of land for CRZ, and it is benefiting whom? I would like my panel members, if they can address this issue. Similarly, this is issue of Nerul. I stay in Nerul. This is a creek, this is a mangrove. There's a road, which is Palm Beach Road, which is going on Palm Beach Road, right side. There's a number of buildings that come up. There's a fight going on between MCZMA, and then the case was referred to central government whether these buildings required CRZ clearance or not, and what should be done, because what CRZ clearance notification says, there is no provision for regularization. That means if you have violated regulation, you demolish the structure. As an engineer, when I think that, okay, had they taken permission for CRZ, what difference it would have made to environment? Is it procedural lapse or environmental lapse? Are we over-regulating? The question which you are asking, so this is more immediate in this case. These are the ponds which are constructed for stopping stormwater entering creek, and again in the rural area, and then there was some growth of mangroves all along the pond. Moment mangrove growth is there, high tide line, CRZ, so everything was beyond that. So you cannot do desiltation of the pond because it is in CRZ. Over-regulating. This is a case from Alibag, and number of structures like this have come in Alibag area along coast. Now these are at certain height. If you say whether this is ecological sensitive area or not, well, study can tell, but to my knowledge, there's nothing. I had been there personally. They're saying, person is saying, okay, my house is lying there. Now your rules are telling for renovating my house, I require permission under CRZ. No, I'll be spending something like, say, 5 lakh rupees on renovating my house, and you are telling me to spend 15 lakh rupees on CRZ clearance. Where's the logic? So this case of over-regulation. Is there a way out? Because I narrated problems, I told you what is the basic purpose. Is there a solution? Solution is again there in the system. Government knows it well. This report is available on Ministry of Environment's website. Report of committee to formulate objective parameters for identification of inviolate forest areas which cannot be disturbed. Now, what they say that inviolate areas are sites of significance for conservation of biodiversity and forest types that are unique and ecologically important. Besides these forested areas, I'm saying this analogy can be extended to coastal zone areas. There they are taken criteria like forest types, biological richness, wildlife values, forest cover, landscape integrity, hydrological value. They are given detailed procedure for assigning scores and coming out with the inviolate score, and they are saying that entire forest area should be divided into 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer grid, and you give inviolate index to it, and then decide. Now, my suggestion is for all along that 500-meter belt, all along the coast, if similar study can be done and if you identify which areas are very important from ecological point of view, which should not be disturbed, and which areas where development is possible, life will make easy to the developer, to the appraisal committee, to the court, and to everyone. Well, I mean, coming back to again, these are the topics which are given to us, so my colleagues will be presenting one after other. So in the beginning, Dipti will come and tell us that what are the CRZ regulation systems world over. Thank you.